If you're new to Exponents and Surds, then this video is for you. Because in this video, I will cover very bare bone basic questions that you may encounter if you just started with Exponents and Surds. However, it does cover the basic fundamentals, which are very important in order to answer the intermediate and advanced questions. Okay, so let's get into the first question. The first question is a multiplication of the same base. Okay, we can see that by both bases being an x. When we have multiplication of the same base, we actually add up our exponents. So this one is quite straightforward. All we need to do is put it under the same base and add up our exponents. Super duper simple. Next one. Okay, let's take this away. Let's put it back where it came from. The next one is the division of the same bases. When we divide the same base, which is our x, we minus the two exponents. So all we need to do in this situation is say x 5 minus 3, which is going to give us x to the 2. Quite simple. Like all of these questions, they are relatively simple, but they are important to understand. Because if you don't understand these basic questions, you will definitely struggle on the harder questions. Next up is the power rule. Within the power rule, we can see that we have a base with an exponent to another power. When we have this specific example, all we need to do is put down our base and multiply our exponents. So we'd be left with x 2 times 3, and then we'd be left with x to the power of 6. The next one is the Surd rule. The Surd rule. What's important about this specific question, they do not give us an index number. However, we should be aware that when you do not have an index number, our index number is automatically 2. So how does this work? When we have an exponent to a surd, we need to say the exponent divided by the surd. We will then write down our base, which is x, our exponent, which is 10, and divide it by the surd. So we'd actually be left with x to the power of 5. Next up. Okay, in this situation, we actually have two things that we need to do. The first thing that I personally like to do is take my exponents to the top if possible, or bring them down if possible. Okay, I just want to make them positive. Personally, I don't like working with negative exponents. So because this is one term in the denominator, I can actually bring it to the top. So I'd be left with x to the 3 multiplied by x to the 2 over 1. So we don't need to write the over 1. Now we can see that we are left with the product rule because we are multiplying the same base. So that means we write down our base and we add up our exponent. Quite simple. The main step is understanding the negative exponent. But what you could also do is, because it's a division of the same base, you could actually say x 3, and then when you have a division of the same base, you minus the exponent. So you'd say x3 minus 2, which would give us x3 plus 2, which would also give us x5. So you can work it out either way. It's completely up to you. I personally prefer bringing the exponents to the top, but it's all up to preference. Next up, we have this question over here. Okay, I simply put this in because it's a trick question. What most people would do is they'd actually try and divide these two. That is wrong. Why is it wrong to divide those two? The reason it's wrong is because of the plus sign. The laws only apply on single terms. They don't apply when there are two terms. So because there is two terms within the denominator, we cannot actually say that these two would cancel each other out. Okay, very important. So this cannot be simplified further. So I understand that this video, the questions were quite easy, but it's just a video on the bare bone basics. I will be releasing a video with harder questions, an intermediate level, an advanced level, which will go into questions that you will actually be asked. I doubt you'd be asked questions like these, unless you're maybe in grade 8, 9, then you could be asked questions like these. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, follow on TikTok, the links will be in the description, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.